Hey. Okay, so today we're going to be working with Kirsten right here on her first bassoon lesson. So we're going to start with going ahead and talking about breathing. So just go ahead and take a normal deep breath, okay? Feels nice. All right, now go ahead and lean over your body. Let your arms hang. Now take a deep breath again. Ready? Again. All right. So where did it feel like you were breathing in your body?
In my chest.
In your chest?
Yeah.
Okay. So when we play a wind instrument, especially like bassoon, we need to really focus on a lot of air being pressurized and also just held within our lower cavity, so like our stomach. So go ahead and take your right or your left hand, place on your tummy, and when we breathe in, try and push your hand out, okay? But leave your back straight. So let's try that. Ready? Did you feel that? All right, let's try it again. Yeah, and if you notice, my shoulders don't move up and down at all. So that sounds great. So that's the kind of breathing we want to keep in mind when we're going through this, okay? Other than that, you already have great sitting posture, okay? So for bassoon, we want to make sure we are firmly on, the majority of the chair. We're not on the edge of it like some other instruments. And we want our back to be straight but not uncomfortably arched, yeah? All right, so that looks good. Feet are flat on the floor. Fabulous. So now we're going to move on to embouchure. And embouchure refers to the shape of your mouth, okay, and how your lips, how your teeth, basically all the little subparts work together to make a form that helps you play. So with the bassoon, we work on this kind of embouchure that makes an O sound or an okay, and we call it the almond. So basically, it's this small little circle right here. Don't go like don't go like ooh. There's a comfortable oh. So go ahead and try and make that face.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So you see how your lips are out?
Yeah.
So try and bring them just back comfortably a little bit. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. No, that's okay. Yeah, that's good. No, it's okay. There's a mirror behind you, so you can look in the mirror. Oh. So, oh. You see how? Yeah. So. No, it's okay. Go ahead. Try. Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yeah, that's good. It'll change a little bit when we put a reed in there. So when we make that oh sound, we want to support it with the air. So let's breathe in, and then we'll exhale and write oh. Okay? Ready? Breathe in. Oh. Yeah, really warm, hot air. Okay? All right, and I'm going to refer to this right here just so I make sure to keep you on track. Awesome. So next we're going to move on to talking about the reed. So there's a student reed in your bassoon in the big section. Yeah. So the bassoon, in case you don't know, is a double reed. So it basically means there are two pieces of wood together that vibrate against each other to make the sound. Yep, a lovely reed right there. Whenever we bring out our reed for the first part of the day, we want to make sure that we soak it for about 30 seconds or a minute, depending on the cane, but that's another day talk. Just to make sure that it's wet, but not like overly saturated. So go ahead and place it in this warm cup of water, and I will do the same. Our reed's magic. All right. So when we place the reed in our mouth, we're going to go ahead and pretend our fingers are reed first. Okay? So we're going to make that almond shape. Oh. We're going to place the tip of the reed on our bottom lip. And then we're going to roll it in just a little bit. Yeah, don't kiss it down.
Sorry.
We'll kiss it that much, okay? Yeah. Yeah. So a lot of people, when they're teaching bassoon, they're just like, rolling your lips like an old lady. But that's not right, okay? That's bad. So just try that again and see if you can do it without me showing. Yeah, and once we put in a reed in, you'll be able to feel it a little bit differently. Good. All right. That's okay. I know which one's yours. All right. So this one's mine.
Yep.
So you go ahead and grab yours. All right. So let me just blow some water out.
Should I also blow water out?
No, yours is good. Mine, I was just playing on it earlier. All right. So, just like we did with our finger, tip on the bottom, roll it in. Yeah, take it a little bit more. Yeah. Now, try and make that same warm air from your stomach that we did before. Ready? Yeah, that's a sound. Yeah. Try and blow a little bit harder, more air. Yeah, that's better. So, when we play our reed, to tell if it's a really good reed and to see if we're putting our mouth in the right shape, we do this kind of thing called crowing, which is basically when you're using the correct embouchure, you're able to hear a lot of different pitches coming out of the reed, low and high. So I'm playing on an older reed right now, so it might not have all the pitches, but let's see if I can get mine to crow. So there's a couple in there. See here, it's like crunchy, right? It doesn't sound nice, but it's correct. So see if you can do that. Okay, if you can, that's fine. Yeah, let me see the reed really fast and make sure it's just not too hard or soft for you. Let's see. Yeah, okay, so I totally believe in you. You can do it. Why don't you try taking in a little bit more reed, okay? And try not to have too tight of a face. It's a really just relaxed, okay? Yeah, that's closer. Whatever you just did, try to do it even more, okay? Yeah, so what are you doing to get it to make that sound?
I think I'm putting more reed in my mouth.
Putting more reed in your mouth?
And
okay.
Less pressure.
And less pressure. All right. So why don't you try that again? And this time use even more air. So take a really big. Yeah, even better. So you're getting more sound out of it. Awesome. So when we have the reed in our mouth and we're able to make a great crow, the next thing that we have to take into account is articulation. And articulation is basically how we make long sounds sound like vocal patterns. And that's a terrible way to describe it. So articulation, I can talk like this, or I can talk like this, or I can talk like this, right? Articulation is how we change kind of like the inflection and the starting and stopping sounds of the notes, okay? So when we articulate on the bassoon reed, we're going to take the tip of our tongue and we are just going to lightly tap the bottom. Some people like to tap straight, but a lot of times it's easier to tap from the bottom. And you play trumpet, so you might be used to tapping the top of your teeth or straight. So you're just going to want to try and lightly bounce off. If that doesn't work, try something different, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and do just some simple articulations. So got a long note. Can you try doing some of that? Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah. Okay. That sounds lovely. Oh my gosh. All right. So let's go ahead and place our reeds back on top of your little case. And then next we're going to talk about the different parts, the many parts. So let's actually just go ahead and place the reed inside of the case just for safety. And we'll place that right here. And then how about we just bring your bassoon over right in front of you. I'll move this out of the way. Yep. And so really quickly, you see how in this bassoon there's a logo right here? And we've got all these pockets on top. So that's a good way to tell that this is the top of the case, okay? We always want to make sure that we open it this side up, all right? So now go ahead and let's undo this biggest zipper right here, okay? All right, and let's make sure this pocket doesn't fly open. All right, so many pieces, yes? All right, so let's go ahead and start. We're not going to pull them out. We're just going to talk about them. So first, the first thing you would want to pull out is your seat strap right here. And your seat strap is usually a long leather piece. This one's super long with a hook on the end. Sometimes it might have a cup. And this hook is going to go on the right side of your body, and the whole entire strap will sit under you. Because bassoon's really heavy, so you have to hold it up with your body, okay? So you're going to sit it just right on the side of you with the hook on the side. So when we get to that step, you'll totally remember it, and you got it. Okay, cool. So next, the bottom of the bassoon is the boot, okay? The boot is this larger piece right here, okay? And it's the largest one in here. Do you see that? Might not be the longest, but it is the thickest. And usually the way you can tell the boot is it has these two large silver chunks on the top and on the bottom, okay? Cool. The next joint that we would place inside would be the wing joint right here, okay? So the wing joint is probably the thinnest, but it's not the shortest, okay? And the way that we can always tell the wing joint apart is it's got this little button floating up here all by itself that we'll call the whisper key, okay? And we're going to talk more about our friend the whisper key later. But so that's, that's a good way to tell the wing joint apart. So we're going to place that in there. All right. Next, we have the long joint, and look, they're buddies. They sit next to each other. They hug real close. And the long joint is the longest. Oh my gosh. So obviously it is longer than all of the other ones. And it's also got these really long keys on them, right? Okay. Next, we have the bell. And the bell goes out the top. And if you play a trumpet, see your bell is on the end. But on the bassoon, it points up, okay? So the bell, we can always tell, because it's got one silver chunk. It's got its own little button, all by itself, okay? Great. Put all those friends back in there. Now, there's one more piece that's super, super important. And you know about the bassoon. Do you know what the piece is? The vocal. The vocal! Oh my goodness. So in this case, the vocal's got its own little special pocket, which we would go into. And we will grab one out. And we're going to go ahead and use the vocal that's labeled 2. So let's find, and there are reasons for that we can talk about another time. So we're going to use this. And the vocal is super important, okay? It's easily broken, okay? Very fragile, but you can still play and toot through it. And basically, when we're using the vocal, and we are putting it inside the instrument, we're going to put the instrument together in a second. Make sure that you're only, if you put a large amount of pressure, don't, but if you're putting pressure on the vocal, you want to hold it right at the curve on the crook, okay? You don't want to push anything down over here because you're going to snap it in half, right? It's smaller over here. And then we also, when we get there, we're going to want to watch this little friend right here, okay? So you go ahead and hold the vocal, and we're going to take our friend, the reed, back out, the reed, and we're going to do some of those same articulation patterns, but with it on the vocal. So go ahead and slip the reed, onto the end of the vocal.
Or distance on the vocal?
As far as it can go.
Okay.
Yep, that looks like a good amount. All right, let me grab mine. And we're going to do the same articulation, the same breathing. Okay, I'll go ahead and go first. All right, so I'm going to hold mine right there and up here. So. Okay, so why don't you try that and see what comes out. Yeah, that's good, yeah. Okay, so that sounds good. How about you go ahead and take the reed off and place the vocal and the reed on that music stand right there. And I'm going to put this over here too. Okay, so next, we're going to actually put it together. It's going to be super fun. It's going to be amazing. You get to hold some stuff. So I'm going to grab mine, and we're going to put them together at the same time. So first off, what was the first piece that we need? The seat strap. The seat strap, correctamundo. So go ahead and place that, if you remember how it goes. And mine's a little different.
Does it matter what side it goes on the sleeve?
Yeah. Oh, that. I usually put the fuzzy part down.
Okay.
Oh, it's just me. Sometimes it works better with the fuzzy part down. All right. And then, yeah, go ahead and pull it a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Just because you're shorter than I am. So then what's the next piece?
Boot.
The boot. Okay, so let's go ahead and grab our friend the boot. Okay, so we notice on the boot we have 2 holes in the top of it. And what do we notice about the holes? What's different?
They're different sizes.
Right. Okay, so let's find our small hole that has metal on the inside. Oh my gosh, there he is. And we want to make sure that he's on the right side. Okay? And then there should be a big square or circle facing you if you got it the right way. Okay, so it's going to go on the bottom. And we're going to put it together on the floor just so it's easy. Yeah, go ahead and make some room if you need to. I can move that. Great. All right, so what's the next piece? Do you remember?
The wing joint.
The wing joint, right. So that's the thinnest one. So let's go ahead and grab him out of there. There we go. All right. So it's a lot of pieces. So when we got the wing joint, you notice this part that's kind of like concave. So that's going to go inside, and that'll make a little bit more sense in a bit. But if you look at the bottom where this tube is, you see this little bridge right here, this little metal piece. It's got tape on it. That is going to line up. If you look, you're holding it. There's this little metal piece right here too. You see it? Yeah. So those two line up together. So when you're putting them together, and when we're holding the wing joint, we don't want to squeeze down here at the bottom because look at all these bars, right? So we can hold it up here. If we're careful, we can hold it up here, but we can't hold it from the bottom. So go ahead and try and slip the wing joint into the boot. Gentle like, yep. There you go. You got it. All right. Now let me see yours really fast to see if, yeah. Okay. So if you look at yours has a little notch right here. Does it have the matching notch on the top joint? Do they both have notches to line up? Because it'll make it easier. They do. All right. So you see this little metal notch? There's a small little white mark.
Oh, gotcha.
So those just line up together to tell you put it together in the right way. So go ahead and take that back, and then make sure we still have the small hole on the side. All right, and let me put mine together really fast.
You said to the right.
Yep, to the right. All right, so then what's the next joint?
The long joint?
The long joint, yep. So let's go ahead and get him out. Him or her. No judgment. All right. You got it. So then, there's 2 ends. We want, oh no! Okay. There's 2 ends. We want the smaller end. Okay. Yep. And you see how there's a side of this where there's like nothing on it, it's plain? That's going to match up with this concave side. So when we're putting it in, pay really close attention to this so we don't damage the instrument. Instead of putting it in like sideways, just put it next to it, and then slide it down right into the hole. And it's super easy. Yeah. And squish that together. Yeah, awesome. All right. So then the last piece with this is you notice up here, there's this little weird thing, little weird metal parts. That's a lock. So if you see when I slide mine over, it locks them into place. Exactly. Cool. So when we're taking apart, we need to make sure we remember that. So yeah, and then go ahead and bend this back underneath this little house. Doesn't want to stay there. That's okay. All right, what's the next piece?
The bell.
The bell, right. All right, so bell. Important. Make sure when we're putting the bell on, hold the button down with your whichever hand you want to.
Okay.
And then that lines up with this little metal piece sticking out, okay? Put that right on there. He's going. Be strong. No, you got it. Awesome. All right.
That's not exactly straight.
That's okay. Let me see. That's okay. That will do the job. All right. So, because you're older, and I trust you not to break anything, go ahead and grab your vocal. I'm going to find mine. There it is. No, I do. But it's easier to put it on right now. Yeah. So if you look up here, we've got one little hole,
Mhm.
right? We've got the lock, which is floating around. And then we have our friend, the whisper key that I talked about earlier, right? So if you notice on yours, it looks like somebody came through at a rough time and it got all ripped up, okay? So remember when we were talking about the vocal and the little hole? Yeah, the little hole. When we are putting it into the hole, we want to make sure that this little metal, I cannot think of the name of it. Well, let's just call it, call him Phil. We want to make sure that Phil doesn't rip off this pad. So, grabbing from the curve, let's place it right in there so that Phil lines up with the pad but does not rip him off. Then try and get it as far down in as you can without breaking it. I know it's hard. We'll probably put some cork grease on that afterwards. Fabulous. Oh, look here. Okay. Awesome. And then let's put this back there. Great. So now we're going to bring the actual bassoon. We're going to hook it up to the strap. So mine's easy because it just goes in the cup. But yours has, no, it actually does not attach to this. That's a good thought though. Yeah. So it attaches all the way to the very bottom. Right. Because that, even though it's the C strap, it can also be called the boot strap. So it's attaching to the bottom of the boot. Okay. So if you go ahead and lift up your bassoon, just watch the vocal. If you look at the bottom, we got two little holes. We're going to put that hook in the hole closest to you. Okay. All right. So can you manage that on your own, or do you need help? You got it.
I don't know.
No.
Does it matter which way it goes?
No, not really.
Okay.
We'll adjust it in a bit. If it's, yep, there you go.
Like that?
Fabulous. All right, let me get mine up. So, let's go ahead and sit up straight. You don't have to worry about the bassoon yet. Sit up straight how you would normally sit up. Yep. And then when we bring the bassoon to us, we want to adjust it so that the end of the vocal is touching somewhere around our lips. I prefer it to touch right below the lip. However, some people prefer it to touch right above the lip. And it really depends. I know you've got, your teeth are a little bit, yeah, you have a pretty severe overbite. So, we might change a little bit. So go ahead and lean the bassoon over your body so that the end of the vocal lines up somewhere close to your mouth. So that's super low, isn't it? That's like at your chin. So the bassoon comes to you. So go ahead and lift up the strap. Yep. There we go. And you know what? Can you see how your seat strap's all twisted? Yeah. Go ahead and try it the other way. It's all trial and error. Yeah.
What's wrong? Cannot find it.
Okay. Need help?
Maybe.
Here.
Watch me get it right here. I just don't.
This is always a hard part.
Okay, just don't want to drop it.
Okay. Alright. So, go ahead and get that to line up. Try and get it to line up here. So still kind of low, yeah? So make that a little bit tighter or higher. There you go. Yeah. So touch the vocal to wherever it lands, hits your face. Where's it going to hit? Mine's going to hit there. Yours hits right there? All right. So let's keep it there right now. All right. So when we're holding the bassoon, your hands are kind of already grabbing on for dear life. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's take a look at our friend.
Okay.
We've got, if you look at the front of him, we've got 1, 2, 3 holes. Yeah? Yeah. So those are our first 3 fingers there. Our first 3 fingers. And then our thumb. If we look at the back of the bassoon, we've got all this metal work. Yeah? So go ahead and look at the right side. All the buttons that are in a straight line. We're going to press the bottom one.
Oh.
That's the whisper key. And if you look, it presses the whisper key we learned earlier, yeah? If you press the whisper key, the bottom one. Here, let me see which one you're pressing. Bottom one? Oh, your whisper key lock is on. You see that little circle? Right. Yep, that thing with the green felt. Oh, pull it down. Yeah. There we go. Okay, so now try the whisper key. There we go. Yeah, so we can talk about whisper key locks another day. All right. So you've got 1, 2, 3, and you've got your pinky, or your thumb, and then your pinky is kind of just resting right there, just comfortably. All right. Then if we look at our right hand, down here, we've only got 2 holes. Well, those are going to be your first and second finger.
Mm-hmm.
And then we've got these two long ones right here.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to use the bigger one for our third finger.
Okay.
And then our pinkies are going to rest on top. I like to rest mine on the square.
Okay.
All right.
That's good.
Yep, the little square. And then on the back, let's try and rest our thumb, right at the bottom of the big,
The bottom.
Okay. The bottom of it. So this key right here, called the pancake key. And the one above it, we call the bacon.
Okay.
So go ahead and rest it at the bottom of the pancake.
Okay.
And let's go ahead and hold down just all of those keys that you're touching. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and the whisper. Yeah, so let's just squeeze. Everything looking comfortable. Does anything feel uncomfortable?
This one with us because I have short, tiny
Yeah,
hands.
you got small hands.
I do.
That's okay. So just
Relax my hand.
yeah, just relax and try not to grip too much with your first and second fingers. Yeah, still cover the keys. There you go. Yeah. And if we had a different bassoon for you, there's some that have a little extension right there for smaller hands to press. And there's also some bassoons that have shorter reach. And then everything feel good down in the right hand? Fabulous. All right. So let's go ahead and just blow some of that really good hot air from our tummy through the instrument. And I might have some spit in my vocal. So let's go ahead and just hold down left hand 1, 2, 3. Whisper right hand 1, 2, 3. Okay? Let's just hold all those buttons, just whatever's comfortable, and let's blow some air. Ready? Yeah. So you see what that feels like? Having something in your hands that large instead of a little dinky right there?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's go ahead and grab a reed. Remember where it is? Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Okay. Get them all wet and nice again. Let's crow one more time. Right? Yeah, keep going. Yeah, that's a lot better. All right, so go ahead and place it on the vocal. And if you notice, if we put it straight like we had on the vocal before, and now it's like curved. So you can go ahead and twist it to the right. So that when you bring it to your mouth, it is flat. Oh, yeah, like that. So we're going to start with our friendly note C. Okay? Whisper. 1, 2, 3. Okay? Yep, that's C. Go ahead and just play whatever comes out. Ready?
At the same time? Okay.
Yeah, that was good. No, that sounded good. Did you press something else in the middle of it?
I may have.
That's okay. All right, let's try it one more time. Yeah, that's really well in tune, but you played the music for a long time. Okay, so next we're going to go up. What's the next note up? D. So what we're going to do is we're going to take off 3. Yep, and make sure your second finger, you aren't like bending it in. Make sure we're playing on the nice round fatted part of the finger. Yeah. All right, so let's play D. Yeah, that's good. All right. Let's do a little song on C and D. Okay, I'm gonna play a song, and you're gonna play it. Okay, just repeat after me. There'll be 4 bars, right? You understand, or 4 beats. Yeah, 4 beats. So you understand 4 beats. So we'll do a 4-beat little song. Ready? 1, 2, 3, and. All right, can you try that? 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah, all right, let's try this one. Ready? Yeah, and make sure your second finger is covering. Yeah, instead of bending it in, instead bring the whole finger back a little bit. Curve it. You see how it's like collapsing? Yeah, try curving it up. I know it is hard. On mine, I try and match up all the fatty bits. So you see how my middle finger is sticking up? Yeah, so just try and line up all those fatty bits and then put your thumb down. Yeah, try this. So just take your hand, take your thumb off. Put all the fatty bits on the keys so that they fit comfortably. Okay, now put your thumb on. Yeah, so it's just a far reach. Yeah. That's okay. All right, so let's try this song. And just keep your hands as relaxed as you can. Ready? Alright. Yeah, good. Alright, let's see if you can see what I'm doing next. Ready? What did I do?
You went up a note.
Right, but how did I go up the note?
You took your second finger off.
Yeah, I did take the second finger off. So what's the next note up? We've got C, D, E. E. Right, so E is then whisper and 1. So can you play, do you remember what I played? I'll play it one more time.
Yeah.
It's okay. Yeah, that's good. So let's try it together even slower. Alright? One, you got it. Don't get discouraged. Alright, ready? 1, 2, ready, and. Yeah, okay, here. I'm going to come over and press one of your fingies and see if that's the problem. I think it's your second finger, and that's okay, you know?
Second finger or third finger?
I think it's both. Alright. I'm going to put my reed down there.
Okay.
You go ahead and play C. Okay? Just go ahead and play C, and I'm going to move your hands a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So you hear that? That means it's not closing the hole all the way. So you're close to vowels, right?
Yeah.
This is buttons. So
It's also my right hand, not my left hand.
yeah, I know that's with your right hand. All right. So try that pattern one more time and
The
take
last
your
one?
time. Yeah,
Okay.
C D C D E. But instead of keeping it in time, just when you feel that the sound is good, go to the next one. Okay? So try that. Yeah, that sounds good. No, that sounds good. All right. So I'm gonna play one more pattern, and I want you to see if you can figure out what I'm doing. What did I do?
You went down.
I went down, right? Do you know how I went down?
You put your first finger.
Right, yeah, I just added my first finger. So I started on E, D, C, B. All right. So let's start at E. Yeah, it's just your first finger. Try E. Yeah, that sounds really good. Here, let's try just hear you, because I hear a lot of me. Yeah. Good. Yeah, that sounds really good. Which one's sitting there again?
E, D, C.
Right. And which fingers did we have to move to make each note?
The top three and the bottom one.
Right. So let's fingering for D. Go.
1 and 2.
Right. And the fingering for B.
1, 2, 3, whisper key, bottom 1.
Right. And the fingering for E.
Top 1, whisper key.
And the fingering for C.
All 3 top, whisper key.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So you've got 4 notes. You
Yeah.
can play. It's not really a major scale, and it's not really. Yeah, it's not really hot cross. We could play hot cross buttons though. But yeah, so those are our first 4 notes that we're gonna focus on. When we come back next time, we're gonna go a little bit lower and we're gonna go a little bit higher. So the things I want you to work on when you go home, really pay attention to your left hand, and if you're covering all those holes. And if you need to, sit in front of a mirror like we have right here, and just look to see if you're covering them. And if that means not using your thumb yet, okay, if that means just putting your fingers on, finding and then bringing your thumb over, because you can only really press the edge of the whisper key for right now, if that's what is easiest. Yeah. You don't have to go all the way up on it using this joint of your thumb, you know?
Okay.
You can just, so when I play the whisper key, I just use the little edge. Yeah. Yeah. That looks a lot better.
Yeah, it feels better.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, so focus on that. So that's the first thing. So keeping your left hand solid. Next. Working on trying to find that crowing sound, okay? And I'll probably I'll send you a video of me crowing, both read and vocal, and then how about like a C, D, E? So you can hear how that changes, and then focus on trying to get the O without the read in your mouth. So if that means, yeah, okay. So, do those all make sense? Awesome. So now we're going to disassemble. So we're going to start with the most breakable part. Yeah. I'm going to place mine over here. All right. What came on last? The vocal, right. Let's go ahead and just take the vocal off. Okay, so yeah, we're going to grab it from the curve again. And we're going to just untwist carefully and back out. There we go. And let's just go ahead and let's put him away for you. So I'll help you this time just because it's tricky. And then why don't you go ahead and take the bassoon out of the seat strap. Let's put it back down in front of us. Great. All right, what goes off next? The bell, correct. So let's go ahead and press the key, pull him off. You got it? He's tight?
Yeah. Oh, it's moving.
It's okay.
I don't know where to hold it.
It's okay. Just try not to squeeze any of the middle parts. Here, let me see. That's okay. I know it's difficult sometimes. Here, let me hold this. Yeah, you gotta hold the button to get it off. Okay. And some of these joints might, there you go, yeah. Some of the joints might just need love. So then let's go ahead and put the bell away. Do we remember where it goes? Right. Indeed, yes. Good, all right. Which one? We'll worry about that in a second. Okay. So which one goes next?
The long joint.
That's right, the long joint. Let me go ahead and put my bell away.
You have to unlock.
Yes, good. We do need to unlock, otherwise they'll be sad. All right, we're gonna grab the bottom. Yeah, we're just gonna pull from the top. I'm gonna twist a little bit until you can pull them straight off here. All right, so then we lay him in the case. And yeah, these are here. I'll hold yours open. That's all good. I can put mine away.
He's on top of
Here. So yes. So. It's kind of weird. You see, you know how the long joint and the wing joint were next to each other? They're going to go the same exact way in here. So put the lock up near this little shenanigan right here. He sits and cuddles with that. Yep. And then twist him around so that the lock cuddles with that piece of, there we go. All right. And then what next?
the wing joint.
Right. We want to be careful where we pull on this one. Right? I know there's so much. It's okay. You can put your hand on this. You just don't want to bend any of these longer ones, okay? Okay. Here. I got it. So I'm going to grab right here, but I'm not going to push on this beam. My hand's just going to be there. Now I'm just going to twist, and up. Now can you cuddle next to that one? Do you remember how they go? Yeah. Yeah, because it locks into that part up top, right? Exactly what I'm doing. All right. And then for the boot, there's a trick. Saw the circle? It's got a little hole for itself. Yep. Go ahead and put that in there. Awesome. And now since this is a wooden bassoon, we don't want it to get scratched or damaged. So take the wing joint back out. And go ahead and wrap it just once in that cloth. There you go. Yep, that's good. And then we're going to put it back in its spot. So that's just so the wood doesn't get damaged and it stays happy in its case. Fabulous. Yep, that's perfect. Now we're going to close it up. Always make sure to check that you closed it. Oh wait, your seat strap almost wrapped. I'm so sorry. Oh, so you can go ahead and roll or fold that up however you see fit. Yep. All right. And then really quickly, just go ahead and zip him closed. Or actually, you know what, let's leave him open so that this makes more sense. Sorry, think about that. So, this is a wooden bassoon, yeah? With a wooden bassoon, wood rots when it gets wet, yeah? So, we always want to make sure that we clean them out. So we only played for like 2 minutes. And if you were to look at the boot joint, there's no kind of liquid in there at all. It is dry as a bone on both sides. Okay? We've got 2 kinds of ways to clean out the instrument, okay? On a trumpet, you don't have to swab anything, right? You just put it in a bathtub, blow spit out the spit valves, yeah? Kind of. Okay, it's a more advanced process than I know. Okay, so we've got 2 swabs over here. So good thing they're different colors. For the boot, it's got its own special swab. This gray one right here with the ball on the end. All right. So what we would do, you take the ball, and you can watch when I do it. You throw it down the big end. That side should be dry always. Throw it on the big end. Tip it over. And it loops around and comes out. And swab it all out. And that brings all of the spit back out the metal side where it's safe. All right. Away. Thank you very much. Then we've got this lovely red swab, which is only for the wing joint. So I like to put mine from the bottom and then pull it out the top. The one thing is you have to be careful again of the whisper key, right? And that's just because we want to get all the spit out of there, and these keys will sometimes fill with dew, and it's just gross. It's not good for the instrument. It's not good for sound. As far as the long joint and the bell, they shouldn't get water in them. They might get dust, so you might want to just blow heavily through them, just to like through them every once in a while. And then your vocal can also fill up with a lot of spit. So he's already away. But next time you pull him out, when we're done playing, you're going to go ahead and you can do it from either end. I like to blow from the big end. You just want to just really hard breath, and you see some spit came out for me because I was playing a little bit more. I'm going to get all of that out because it's nasty and it builds up in here. But you can also blow from this end. Nothing came out that side. So yeah. So those are just some things to keep in mind when we're caring for the bassoon. Obviously, it's also wood, so we should not leave it in a hot car or in a cold car or light it on fire or any of those things, right? Yeah. So just take care. If you were to switch to a plastic bassoon, it's not going to rot out like a wood bassoon, but we still want to make sure we're keeping it clean because we don't want spit to fill in all the holes. All right. So let's go ahead and zip it up. Always quadruple million check to make sure it's closed before you lift it up off the ground. Great, and then you can go ahead and put the reed back in its case. You see mine's got some spit in it, so we're going to swab it out. Here we go. So, taking a little ball. It's going to fall. All the way back out the other end. Pull it out. Yeah, there's some moisture in there because I'm a spitty person. Then we're going to put it in. Yeah. All right. Yep, and then you can put that back where you found it. And as far as the reeds go, you want to make sure when you're not playing on them, they're in a dry place, yeah? So a case is nice. A lot of them that you might buy at a store might be in plastic tubes. But you just want to make sure that they're in a dry place. So do you have any questions about anything we did? Okay. See you next week. JK. All right. 43 minutes of learning. How was that?
One-on-one class. Like
I literally, every time you were like, what's this? And I really wanted to go,